Welcome to the Life's Necessities and Luxuries radio show. Today, our host, Dawn Marie Mutel, your life's commodities broker, will bring you fashion, beauty tips, business acumen, teach you where to find the life's greatest necessities and the finest luxuries. Now, here's Dawn Marie.
Welcome back to another episode of Life's Necessities and Luxuries. Today's topic is definitely a necessity. And my question to you is this. Do you hang out with vampires? I'm not talking about the vampires with the cape and the fangs. I'm talking about the vampires who are sucking the life out of your time, out of your energy, making you feel like you are a ball of nerves. And every time you're around them, you begin to feel edgy and anxious, and you can't wait to leave and bolt. Now, I don't know about you, but I've had many people in my life that did that to me. There's family and friends, and I just let it keep going on and on until I realized what they were doing to me. Now, as you probably know, if you've listened to my podcast or if you've followed me through social media, you know I'm pretty much a positive person. I try not to be negative because I know that negative thoughts are not going to get you anywhere. And when I find myself slipping into that negativity world, I try to push myself right out of it because I know it's not going to do me any good. But when we live with people who are sucking the life out of you, you may realize it or you may not realize it. But there are people I call vampires that will suck the life out of you. Did you ever go out with somebody that you maybe see quite often, but all they do is talk about their problems, but they don't talk about finding solutions for them? Or you don't hear them saying how they're going to find a way to get out of that situation or any means to finding a way out. They just talk about the problem. And you know what? There's a million reasons that people have problems, but there's also a million solutions out there to the problem. But if we don't search and think and dwell on and try to find an answer from the universe to say, help me here, I need an answer, as Brian Tracy would say, and sit there and do a brain dump and list 25 things off the top of your head that can solve that problem. And as he says, it's usually the last item that's the best answer. So think about today. Spend 10 minutes on dwelling on who's in your life that may be sucking the life out of you, who may be squashing your time when you can be working on more important things that's going to better your life, that's going to help you have a more fulfilled life, because now you'll have time to actually work on those things instead of hanging around that person who's just sucking the life out of you. And then when you get home, you don't feel like doing diddly squat because you're drained, right? So now think about those people and try to find ways that you don't have to cut them out of your life altogether. I'm not saying to diss your friends or your family, but realizing that they're doing this is the first step so that you can find ways, maybe it's creative somehow, that you can avoid that so that you can keep moving forward with the things that are really important in achieving your best life. Life on earth is so fleeting. And, after I was hit by the drunk driver when I was 22, I really thought how am I going to live my life after having a broken body? How am I going to recover? How am I going to survive? And when you're close to death, you do realize time is really short. And even as a youngster, I remember my siblings are much older than me. I have them 16 and 14 and 7 years older than me. Okay. So I grew up pretty quick to begin with because they didn't treat me like a child. They were just okay, boom. I remember I became an aunt when I was 5 years old and I was changing diapers and feeding the baby and learning how to cook and clean. And I'm thinking, I'm only 5 years old, but hey, if that's the way it goes, that's the way it goes. I'm grateful for those moments actually because it helped me understand the value of work and what it takes to run a household and a family. And that's probably why I didn't have children, because I knew the work it takes, thinking, I have all these things that I have goals in my life that I want to do. And I feel like if I have children, I'm not going to be able to fulfill it. I didn't have enough money to get nannies or this or that. And I really wanted to try to make something for myself and my life before I had children. And I feel like raising a couple of nieces of mine that I did my share. And so I'm okay with it of not having children. And people say, don't you want to have kids? I'm like, it's great, but it's not for me. I used to love when I had my niece and I would take her out for the day and then I would drop her off back to her mommies and say, okay, see you next time. I mean, I've had family members who could suck the life out of me. I'd sit there and they would have issues and I would try to give them some solutions and they basically would just ignore it. And they just kept spinning their wheels and never really getting anywhere. And you're thinking, but if you would have just tried maybe a couple of those things just to test it out and see if it worked, because then if it didn't work, then okay, no harm done. And you just go find another way to make it happen. So how many vampires would you say you have in your life? It could even be coworkers. I remember one time when I was working for the music industry, and I had a lot of things on my plate, and I was working there like 80 hours a week. And this woman, as lovely as she would come into my office and she would start talking about business, and then all of a sudden it would go personal, and she would start going on and on and on about different things. And even though I thought she was lovely, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm working 80 hours a week and you're working 40, and you're sucking my time up, and now I'm another 2 hours behind because that 45-minute chat that we just had really threw me out of whack for the day. And it would suck my time, and I would have to work harder and faster to pick up the slack. So you see where I'm going with this? I'm not saying people are bad. I'm just saying that there are a lot of people who are negative that don't realize that they're negative because maybe they haven't learned how to be more positive, or they just are afraid to go to the positive side. I don't know. But there's something about being proactive in your life that's going to keep you from going into that negative rabbit hole. So what can you do to take back some of that power of yours so that you don't let any of these vampires crawl into your home? And guess what? It doesn't have to be in person. It could also be on the phone. And if you notice that when you could be on a phone call, sometimes they could run for an hour. And that's an hour of your life that you could be spending on creating something for your business. You could be working on a hobby of yours that you love doing. So just be very careful of how you spend your time and who you spend it with. That's all I'm going to leave you with today, because that's actually a pretty big topic for you if you have these people in your life. Because really what I want for you is to be happy and peaceful and strong with the conviction that you know that you're going to be doing the things that you're supposed to do and not let people try to take you away from doing those things. The book is almost ready to go. The 151 musically inspired secrets to master this thing called life. And I'm really excited. I actually had to redo the book because at the finished product, I didn't like the way it sounded. So me and myself and I decided we're going to redo it. I'm hoping that when I can present it to you guys that you will check it out. And also, I'm looking for 10 people to join the beta group of the program. So if you're interested, please email me at 151musicalsecrets@gmail.com, and in the subject line put beta program. And I would love to have you join us. It's going to be fun. You're going to learn a lot. It's going to help you find some focus and pull out those things in you that may be buried that need to come out. Those creative things that you have inside of you that maybe you did when you were a kid and you forgot about it. Or maybe it's about travel, romantic life. It covers it all. There's 151 secrets, and it's a lot of secrets. And there's 14 parts which cover each aspect of your life. And I think you'll enjoy it because there's a little bit of a twist to it, and I'll explain it in more detail once it's done. If you would like to order a copy, just go to www.lifesnecessitiesandluxuries.com/book, and you can sign up and pre-order your copy now. Thank you for your support. All right. If you like this episode, please share it. I appreciate it. And if you can, and go to www.lifesnecessitiesandluxuries.com and sign up for our newsletter so that I can keep in touch with you and let you know about some things that are coming down the pike. Well, remember to live peacefully, happily, lovingly, successfully, necessarily, and luxuriously. Until the next time.
If you like what you hear, tell someone. If you like what you hear, be a dear and pass it on. Don't forget to stop at our website, www.lifesnecessitiesandluxuries.com, for more tips, tricks, tutorials to live a very necessary and luxurious life.